All right, today we're diving into a venture that's tackling a massive challenge in rural India: energy poverty. It's called Phoenix, and the cool thing is, it all started from a really simple but powerful idea from some engineering students. Their goal? To bring reliable, affordable, and sustainable power to the places that need it the most. So let's get into it and see exactly how they're pulling this off.
So let me ask you something. What would you do if the power went out every single day? I'm not talking about a random blackout. I mean, you build your entire life around the power cuts. You don't ask if they'll happen, you just know they will. For hours, every single day. Everything just stops. The lights go out, work grinds to a halt, life is basically put on pause. And look, this isn't some thought experiment. For millions of people, this is just normal life.
And when that grid fails, what's the alternative? Well, usually it's a noisy, smelly diesel generator. And right here, you can see the economic trap snap shut. People are forced to pay more than double for their backup power. Just look at those numbers. But the cost, it's not just in rupees. You've got the health cost from breathing in all those fumes, the environmental cost from the pollution. It all just feeds into this really tough cycle of hardship. Okay, so before we can really appreciate the solution, we've got to understand just how big this problem is. So let's zoom in on one specific place: rural Andhra Pradesh. For them, this struggle is just another part of the day. Get this, we're talking 4 to 6 hours every single day. Think about that for a second. That's like a quarter of your day, just gone, wiped out. In that time, a small business can lose crucial sales, a harvest can be ruined, students get sent home without finishing their lessons. I mean, can you even imagine how much progress is just lost in those hours? And it's not just one group of people feeling this, right? The impact just ripples out through the entire community. You've got families at home just trying to cook a meal, kids trying to do their homework in the dark. It hits farmers hard. They can't run their irrigation pumps. Shopkeepers, they have to just shut their doors. And what about the essentials? Schools, clinics, even the new EV charging stations. They're all just cut off from the grid. And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. We're not talking about a minor inconvenience here. This is about real-world consequences. We're talking about farmers literally watching their crops die, business owners losing their income, students losing their chance to learn. The bottom line is, when your energy is unreliable, it creates this vicious cycle of economic hardship that feels almost impossible to escape. But sometimes the biggest problems spark the most brilliant ideas. And that's exactly what happened here. This wasn't some solution dreamed up in a fancy corporate lab halfway across the world. No, this idea came straight from the people who lived and breathed this struggle every single day. So, who's the team behind Phoenix? Well, they're not your typical Silicon Valley execs. Meet Vilanki Santosh, Chundu Sivhartha, and Pilla Vamsi. These are engineering and data science students who didn't just study this problem in a textbook, they grew up seeing it right in their own neighborhoods. And that right there, that's what makes their mission so powerful. It's totally personal for them. I mean, they've seen their own families paying way too much for diesel, their neighbors' kids struggling to study without light. So they just decided, hey, we have these engineering skills, let's use them to fix this. They wanted to bridge that gap between urban and rural life. All right, so how do you take that personal fire and turn it into a real working solution? Well, they created something called Phoenix, and it's not just a Band-Aid fix. It's designed to completely change the game for how these communities get their electricity. So what exactly is Phoenix? At its heart, it's a solar mini-grid kit. But the two magic words here are scalable and plug and play. What does that actually mean? It means this isn't some huge, complicated construction project that takes years. It's a super flexible system you can set up quickly. And as a village's energy needs grow, the system can just grow right along with it. And the tech itself is actually beautifully simple. It's a 3-step dance. Step 1, high-efficiency solar panels soak up all that sunlight. Step 2, that energy gets stored in advanced lithium-ion batteries, so you have power 24/7, even when the sun isn't shining. And finally, step 3, a smart little system manages all that power, sending it where it's needed super efficiently. It's really just capture it, store it, and share it. Now look at this. When you put Phoenix right next to the old way of doing things, the difference is just night and day. You're swapping out something that's expensive, dirty, and frankly, just doesn't work half the time for a solution that's affordable, totally clean, and gives you power around the clock.
It's not just a small improvement, it's a complete upgrade in every single way you can measure.
Okay, so having a great idea on paper is one thing, but the real test, right, is seeing if it actually works out there in the real world. So the Phoenix team had to move from the drawing board to the village and see if their plan could actually power people's lives. So they did just that. They built a prototype and gave it to 12 potential customers to try out. And the feedback? It was awesome. 9 out of the 12 absolutely loved it. They were raving about having reliable backup power and seeing real cost savings compared to diesel. And even the criticism was super helpful. People suggested things like a bigger battery, which helped the team make the product even better. So where does a small startup like Phoenix fit in with the big dogs? I mean, they're up against massive companies like Tata Power and, of course, the whole existing network of diesel generator sellers. But here's their secret weapon, their model. They're modular, they're affordable, and they're all about the community. That means they can be way more nimble and responsive than some giant, slow-moving corporation. And let's talk about the size of the opportunity here, because it is absolutely massive. This is not some tiny niche market we're talking about. The global market for microgrids like this, it's estimated to be worth $500 billion. That's just staggering. And it proves that a really smart local solution born in a village in Andhra Pradesh could have a truly massive impact all over the world. So what's the game plan now? Well, Phoenix has a crystal clear vision for how they're going to take this amazing prototype and turn it into a full-on energy revolution. And they've got their next year mapped out. It's ambitious, for sure, but it's also super focused. They're starting by making the prototype even better. Then they'll launch a pilot program in 2 villages to really prove the concept. From there, it's all about a full market rollout and getting the grants they need to scale up. It's a really smart step-by-step plan to grow their impact. And that really brings us to a final and I think really important question. We often think that to solve huge global problems like energy poverty, we need these massive top-down solutions. But what if the real answer lies in projects like Phoenix? What if it's all about these smart, agile, community-driven ideas designed by the very people who understand the problem best? Maybe the future of energy isn't one giant supergrid, but thousands of tiny, resilient ones, lighting up the world one village at a time.